Seems about right. All right. Excellent conversation. Excellent conversation. Excellent conversation. Coffee and Kush TV, late night conversations with the Row. Listen. I got a crazy theory, and I need my classroom help with this one. Taj is really doing a good job at breaking down a few things, and he's a blessing. He's a blessing, especially when. Let me fix this. Especially when it's hard to be break. It's hard to break already this historic stuff down the way that I'm doing it. But when you in your imagination, shit just comes to you, and I believe I made a statement on my last show, which was space and time, such and such, dealing with Albert Einstein type of thinking. And I, got off the air and started thinking about it even more and started thinking about quantum mechanics and blah, blah, blah. And something came to my mind. But before I get there, we're talking about the law of relativity. Shout out to Taj and stuff like that. Before we even get there, while I was discussing this with Taj, another thought came to my mind as we thinking about this. As we thinking about time, overlapping time, and the different parallels in time, we figuring out the different characters, the overlapping stories, what they call the real Mandela effect, right, Taj? Very important, and it got my mind going, and I'm at peace, really. I really, as long as I got somebody to talk to, I'm good. As long as I can stay here mentally, I'm good. You feel me, Royal Purple? I really enjoy thinking about and pondering the things especially the matrix per se, the matriarch setup that we are in this womb of a corporation, right? So we broke down Tataria. A lot of people wasn't here for that, but Brian King, what's up? Shout out to you on that Cash App, champion. Shout out to you, bro. I'm glad I helped you along in this journey we call life, bro. It's a blessing. But we broke down Tataria. We broke these things down and explained that's the devil's kingdom, and we're going to continue to do so. We just learned from the preacher that they set up a high altar, and they used to do sacrifices at the top of this building. Press one. It's Babylon, the Tower of Babylon, when they played to praise the moon and the stars and make sacrifices on top of this huge tower. Press one. Yeah, we gotta stay on fire, Marley. I can't play with you. I gotta make sure it's fire. So this is gonna take, a lot of thought and imagination for you. But I think that all of this biblical accounts and all this happened right here, not only in just the world, but really right here in the Americas, especially given all of the floods and all of the things that we have recorded, like even the so-called reset with dealing with Tataria and all this, and breaking all that down, letting y'all know that's the Prussian allegory government per se. But check this out. Along my journey of conspiracy theories, along that, giants and all that, I remember coming across something called the Devil's Tower. Press what? And now that I remember, all of the people was like, oh, that's a tree. Oh, that was the mother tree. Press 1. Oh, that was the mother tree. But I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Now that my thinking cap is on, press 1. Now that my thinking cap is on, you feel me? It made me want to go back and revisit some old shit. Press 1. So now, family, y'all know what I'm on. You know what I'm on, right? So what did Kev go do? The white man said he seen the complete rainbow where? In Missouri. Press 1. Hey, listen, the fire ain't gonna stop. So I did a picture analysis. A tree that was destroyed by the Great Flood? Or was that really the Tower of Babel? The Devil's Tower? The Tower of Nimrod? Press 1. That was destroyed. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, I was thinking about this. This is before we get into time and the law of relativity and nothing. This is what I'm starting with. Is the Devil's Tower the Tower of Babel? Press 1. You know what makes us say this? That this is a huge possibility? Check this out. My man Ali. All right, do your research. What was the first monument in the United States federal government, bro? Come on, bro. Come on, bro. The Devil's Tower was the first United States national monument established by who? Theodore Roosevelt. Pause. Press 1. Roosevelt. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? What you say? What you say? True champion. I don't gotta come on for an hour no more. I can come on for a few minutes. That's why it's called the Devil's Tower. Why? Because it was destroyed and crystallized in mud. Press 1. Well, that's my theory anyway. Who am I? Who am I? Who am I? I'm just Kev Rogan. Press 1. Could it be? Well, it's up to the people to decide. You know, is the Devil's Tower, the Nimrod, Serapis, all the different gods, and Dagon. This is all that right there, the many names of Lucifer. Press 1. Come on, talk to me. Talk black to me. You know, there's a huge probability that can be the Tower of Babel. But then that'll mean all of that was going on right here. Todd said, yes, final answer. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Amanda said, damn. That's that could be. I'm sorry, I'm trying to shrink it so the people can see the difference. And in this picture, it's a shame that history got to be told this way, but it is what it is. Could that be the Tower of Babel? Press 1. That was destroyed. Giving more proof to biblical accounts right here in the Americas? No, talk to me. Is this why? Is this what people is hiding and trying to come up with astrological nonsense about aliens and dust? Possibly. Possibly. That's a huge possibility. And if so, that's one of the biggest finds that in your mind that you can think about right now. They say they was trying to climb Jacob's ladder. That may be true. Remember in that movie Moana, what was at the top of that thing? Old boy with the hook was climbing. They was trying to get inside because there was an opening at the top that can get them down. Press 1. Coffee and Kush TV. Taj, what up, player?
Cool and Kev. Yes,
What's
yes,
up?
that's it, bro. That's the time of Bible, yo.
What? Why you say that, man?
And final answer, bro. Everything that we talking about, and it's wild because you remember we was talking about like we were going in on like Billy Carson and 19 Keys, Blue
Right.
Pill, Red Pill,
Right.
and all right. So one thing that I came across, and that sparked another thought with Blue Pill and Red Pill, is they like dealing with orphism, which again ties back into Mithraism and Dionysus.
Wait,
and
you said they like
that.
they like dealing in what?
Orphism.
Or
Orphism is the cosmic egg. The cosmic egg wrapped with the snake. The egg wrapped with the snake.
okay.
All right, and that. All right, so
Oh, that's what that is.
yeah, and that's why earlier you said you had said something. I meant to go back over it, but you had said something. Yo, you were talking about trying to capture the seed, and how you said the serpent seed, and what I had in my mind, because we talking about like, you know what I mean, jumping back and forth between the metaphysical and the actual. You dealing with a woman and a man, and a man got the seed, and a woman has the egg, and it's like, how can I put it in words? It's like how I see it is
The
the same
serpent
way
the
they were
serpent
trying.
is trying to mix his seed with the egg.
Yeah, yeah, to, and like yeah, bro, and I think that's like the code that they're speaking in when they saying all that wild stuff, man. They were saying like this dude's talking like they'll take something, man. But yeah, yeah, I digress, bro. But to get back on track, that's everything that they're talking about because they're sounding exactly like if you go back to the guys like Max Planck, the guys who came up with the atom bomb with the man, what is that, the Manhattan Project.
Go ahead.
These are the same guys. These are the same guys that go back into, you know what I mean, the Manhattan Project, the atom bomb. These are the same guys that, if you follow their tree back, like a coaching tree with football or basketball or whatever, they go back into the University of Gothenburg, aka the School of Religious Studies.
Go ahead.
And what my theory is, remember, we found anthropology head dude over there, and we also found other guys that matched guys that were presidents, guys who were governors, major policy people. And, you know what I mean? You start going into Council of Foreign Relations and stuff, you start finding those guys again, all those Title 36. And it was like, it's like, to bring it to the day, you got a lot of people during the uprisings that were happening around the country after George Floyd. It brought to light that you had like a lot of these buildings, schools, and you had a lot of monuments that in counties and school, like all types of stuff that was named after these people,
Right.
who essentially were leading the coups. The eugenicists, what economists, like I'm starting to put all of that stuff all together. Like they are all the same people.
Of course.
And
You starting to realize they're all a part. They're all gears of the same beast, the same machine.
Exactly. And it's like time and space. So that is like the theory of relativity. You're dealing with time and space.
Okay.
So,
And to the people who really don't really understand, because we in the black community, right? So we talking time and space. We thinking, little time. And what do you mean by time and space, bro?
I'm talking about the manipulation of time and space. So basically, everything that you've been talking about since I've been here and previous to that is them. An example to make it simple is saying, "Hey, Wakanda." Well, I'm not even going to use Wakanda. I use something in Georgia.
Now we're talking. Now we're talking time, an event that happened in all of our consciousness in time that we can all relate to. Go ahead.
All right. So if we talking time, all right.
Yeah.
I'll start with time then.
Well, wherever you was starting, you was already in time. So I'm just letting you know. I'm letting the audience know where you are. Go ahead, champ.
All right. So if we dealing like with time, and this is something. Remember the sumptuary laws. Sumptuary laws are basically saying that you can't wear like certain colors, you can't wear certain like garbs and stuff like that. And where my mind is starting to go with that is like the like a coat of arms maybe, or like the right to bear arms, like a Second Amendment type of thing. But you know what I mean? That again is another manipulation of transmutation. Is a transmutation? Are we talking about arms as in a gun? Or are we talking about arms like the arms of a family that would be the leader?
A coat of arms.
I
got you. Yeah.
And when these things were taken, again, we jump into medieval time. In medieval time, the nobility would have the coat of arms, and everybody would fight under that banner.
Go ahead.
So when they came, and you say it all the time, they took the clothes. That sparked my mind when I came across the sumptuary laws, because it's like you can no longer wear the clothes that would designate you to be royal or of noble stature.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? It blended you in. You blended you in with everybody that was bringing in, say, from like the East Indian Company,
right?
Or, you know what I mean? Something like that. When these people were coming from like Jamaica and Grenada and stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
That was like Mexico at a certain time.
Yes, sir.
All right. So when it was no distinction between the two things, like all of a sudden they relaxed on those laws. That again that ties in kind of to the 13th Amendment by criminalizing your outfits, and you were saying like, you know what I mean? Hey, you're a gangbanger if you wear these. The same thing is happening right now.
Right, right,
But
right.
the nobility was distinguished. So they started putting on like the clothes of the nobility and assuming the role of the nobility.
Altering
And
history, and there you
yes,
go.
sir.
Go ahead. I see what you mean. I see where you're
All right,
going. Go ahead.
all right. So another thing that was going on with the sumptuary laws, let me pull it up. So I'm like going back into the Spartans. So this is like by the way they said this is like 2,200 years ago. They stopped allowing the people to have gold and silver.
So
We're
this was
talking about
so this is
2000,
now this is
2012.
time immemorial here where you talking.
Yes, sir.
Where they
Yes, sir.
validated that this
That,
happened and this arrived simultaneous with reality. Go ahead.
indeed.
No, now
So
I'm just
going
letting you
back
know.
2000,
I'm just letting you know we dealing in time, the law of relativity, where two things are happening simultaneously in two different dimensions per se. Go ahead. Same thing.
yes, sir. And
Same thing.
it's all about perception. It's all about the observer. You know how they got like that split theory is like when you observe something. Well, and let me not even go there.
No, why
But
not? Why not stay right there? And the observer is the game changer
yes, sir.
in the split
Yes,
theory.
sir.
But go ahead. We talking about the splicing of the atom. But
Based,
go ahead.
based off your perspective, yes,
Bingo.
sir. If you're watching it or if you're not watching, if you're observing
Bingo.
it or you're not observing it. So
And the
what was going on?
object itself knows when it's being observed, correct?
Yes,
Did you
sir.
know the
Yes,
the
sir.
object
It's
itself will
intelligence.
then
Intelligence.
slow in time and can change which slit it goes through, correct?
Yeah, it's gonna say it's either gonna be like a wave or it's gonna be like a ball or
There
a
you
wave,
go.
and
There
it's
you
gonna
go.
depending on if the person is observing.
Go
All
ahead.
depending on the observer.
Go ahead.
All right. So in 215 BC, they said the possession of gold and silver was also forbidden to the Spartans. The legislation permitting the use of only iron money. A system of sumptuary law that was extensively developed in ancient Rome. A series of laws beginning in 215 BC governed the materials of which garments could be made and the number of guests at entertainments and forbade the consumption of certain foods. So when they started talking about the possession of gold and silver, I went from 215 BC when they were talking, and I jumped up to like 1893 and 1933 when you had like gold confiscations, and they said that you couldn't have
Now
gold.
you time
So
traveling,
you,
son. Now you know the fucking time traveling. There you go, champion. Come on. Come on. Now we time
yes,
traveling. Go ahead.
yes, sir. And it can be like it's a confusing thing, and it's like the way I see it, the best way I can explain it, it's like a reverse card at Uno. You know how like you stacking up like draw twos and draw fours and stuff, and you playing the game of Uno, and it's like it puts the weight, it flips the weight. Going back to when they were talking about the bonds and stuff like that, they had bonds, stocks and bonds that were valuable, but their money wasn't worth anything. So they exchanged their stocks and bonds that weren't really valuable for the real substance from the people in that time period we like to stay in, right in that like the 1917 up to 1930, like 1929ish or 1933, let's call it 1913 to 1933, Social Security Act, the Federal Reserve Act. In that time, like basically they intrigue the people to switch into their position.
Right.
Well, I'm not even gonna say they necessarily just intrigue the people, but they all around this country they were cooling the town. And the more and more research I do on like the Red Summer, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Oscarville, all these things that were happening at that time, these people were run off their land. And when they were run off their land, like other people stepped into their homes and stepped into their properties. And when you start going and looking at like the land patterns and the titles, you see it go from one person, and then you see the properties being parceled off, and then those parcel properties being sold later on down the line.
Facts.
And that right there, in and of itself, let alone them going into people taking all of their possessions and their businesses and stuff like that, that right there, a group of people, a certain group of people, back for generations.
Yes, sir.
It's like, and
well, it would paper genocide them out of existence. It would put them automatically flip the roles of something to nothing, and they will be of no more remembrance because they won't have a lineage. They will be cut off.
They're black. They're stateless.
They're stateless immediately because you just assume their identity and thus making them black in law and refugees in their own land. It's a criminal. But you couldn't be able to tell if you tell the simultaneous story as a time immemorial historical fact to make people believe, oh, that happened way back in Rome. Oh, that wouldn't happen. You know, that was way back with Babylon and stuff. Wait a minute, sir. That also happened when? In the 1890s, the early 1900s, the Federal Reserve. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, but not just the Federal Reserve, the allotment laws, the theft, the federal government, the militias being, the burning of the towns and the records and the assuming of these people's names and homes and property, all that. Go ahead.
Yeah, bro, and to tie it back into what's going on right now, again, the language that these black the black conscious community, metaphysical community, whatever you want to call them, that they're using is the same thing, but they're using the same play because they really on the same team, and they're acting as if they're against. So it's like a controlled opposition type of deal, and it's like they acting out a play right in front of us.
Well, what you gotta realize, you know what? Call me back in 5 minutes. Listen to the show. I'm going to show you something. What you gotta realize is they are acting, and the act is the spook. They're actors, and because they're part of the circus, and we've been breaking down these characters within space and time, saying, wait a minute, that guy looks like that guy, and that guy looks like J.P. Morgan, and J.P. Morgan looks like, wait a minute, was this some fucking ruse? Are these characters? And what you're actually may be identifying is the law of relativity being played out mentally, saying, wait a minute, our timeline matches up with what happened with Rome, but Rome is still in existence, but not that Rome, is it? Yes, that Rome right there. All of them. Now, I'm finna show you a video, right? Now, this is what sparked my mind. Now, I told him to call back in a second because he has to see this video. Now, this is A Man in a High Castle. And I was watching this and I was really fascinated by this scene right here. told y'all the men in black, the white light. Watch top. Look at this. Here they come.
We've made great progress since your last visit, Reichsmarshal. The knowledge we are gaining surpasses our wildest expectations. We've sent a series of teams of health commando agents through the portal, as you instructed, and we have been able to mine that world for scientific innovations, its military secrets.
Look, they're mining their world, stealing their secrets, all that. And those people that they're doing and coming back, assuming different roles, are going back in time. They're altering people's history, and they're coming back like illegal immigration. Come on, watch this.
We are draining the old world of all technological and cultural intelligence.
We draining them of all the intelligence, and we sucking it up. Watch
And
this.
not just from America. We now have teams in Europe and Asia too. And they don't even know we're there.
They don't
However,
even know we here.
they are improving their nuclear capabilities.
They're advancing.
No. The Americans and the Russians.
Do they know about our world?
Beyond a few academic papers, they have no sense of the multiverse, no grasp of portal technology.
No grasp of portal technology, of none of this. Watch this.
Whoever wrote those papers seem to have a pretty advanced understanding of quantum mechanics.
We are taking care of it. This way, Reichsmarshal. I have something to show you.
What are we looking at?
The map of the multiverse.
The map of the multiverse. Watch this. Watch the map. Atoms split within atoms. Characters within characters. Lives and stories within stories.
This is our world. And this is the alternate world we've reached.
Now, hold up. He pointed right there. That's New York. Look.
And this is the This is our world. And this is the alternate world we've reached.
Boom.
So like our own.
It's the carbon copy. Right on top of it.
Except the Axis lost the war.
Except the Axis lost the war. Ain't that what y'all believe? The Axis of evil lost the war. The Axis of evil was looking right at it saying, oh shit, we lost the
Which is why it's critical we understand it.
Which is why it's critical that you understand why we lost the war. We're not losing no war.
It's critical we understand it. But soon we'll reach other worlds. And more beyond that, harvesting the intelligence of world after world, defeating everyone across the multiverse.
Every door out is a door in. Step up the sabotage program. Every door out is a door in. Step up the sabotage program. I don't want any surprises coming through this portal.
So, dealing with quantum mechanics and the law of relativity, you dealing with simultaneous worlds going on at one time where people are playing roles right in your face. Let's be real. That's Einstein. So when I think about what we're doing and what we're questioning here is, okay, are we living in a simulator? See? Boom. Yes. Where you think You're the United States of America, and you won the war against very bad people called the Nazi. Press 1. But little do you know that they organized this history and these characters within worlds for you to think this and that and this. And yeah, and then this guy won the war, and then this guy beat him up, and they all just sit back laughing because they're just stories and worlds within worlds. I mean, if you believe it, I'm telling you, they're all the same people. And how to defeat them, defeat people is it's exactly what you say, a simulated multiverse in which we're all, but like Neo in the Matrix. And that's what they are trying to interpret as white supremacy. It is a machine that you have to, must for your mind. It's a prison for your mind, like Morpheus said. What type of prison? Well, all of the characters that we that we that we have been questioning, from Roosevelt to Taft and all of these people playing different, all of that is dealing with the splitting of the atom. Because one person can play two, three, four, five different characters, depending on the time. Shit, you don't know who is who. Woodrow Wilson or Pope Pius. Rockefeller or Wild Bill, Devil Bill. Press 1. Well, you don't know who is who. Because the characters that we've been breaking down are just the characters. This is the importance of it. Like, wait a minute. Ain't nothing. It's all simulation, knowledge. The Truman Show. Characters within lives. Your favorite hero can be this person at Epstein Island. Before it was Epstein Island, it was Rockefeller's Island. Come on now. But but the Rockefeller is also the guy who gave you Sesame Street. You don't know who Mr. Rogers is once the television program go off. You believe in this stuff. Characters within characters. Spooks within spooks. This is your artificial intelligence. And the battle is your mind. You have to see and know who you are, so you will know your history, because you have dimensions on top of dimensions. You feel me? On top of dimensions of information out here that's here to deceive you. That's not real. That's one conspiracy after the next conspiracy. You're gonna think Billy Carson here is to help you, but he's a part of this right here. See? Aliens and all of this, and this subliminal talk for what? Misdirections and characters and systems on top of systems. Man, I'm glad we able to think of it on this level. The law of relativity, and the two multiverses overlapping each other. God's way and this simulated anti-God way that has placed itself on top of us through trickery and psychotrauma and television and entertainment. You thought you can just get on the internet and say, oh, Operation Paperclip, when the American government brought 40 Nazis. It's deeper than rap. It's bigger than Operation Paperclip. They didn't just bring motherfucking Nazis over here. They destroyed a whole nation by way of this malarkey. You don't even know. This man right here can be Adolf Hitler at an old age. You don't know. This can be Charlie in the chocolate factory, the daddy that was the handicapped daddy that was really not handicapped when it was time to go to Willy Wonka's land. right? He was in the bed the whole movie, all the way up until Charlie got that golden ticket. He got his old ass out that bed and went with the young man. Press one. He was playing sick the whole time. Don't give me that. He was a piece of shit. Willy Wonka's that movie. Charlie's grandfather. He was a piece of shit. He hopped his ass up and went right to the kingdom. Charlie, we inherited. Look, Charlie. What? I know a con artist when I see one. Don't play with me. But dealing with the law of relativity, this is what I'm dealing with. Multiverse on top of multiverse. Inception, deception. Dreams within dreams. This is what world y'all caught up in. Walt Disney, Einstein, Disney, propaganda. You still in mind control. And don't even know there are characters that are within characters. You may like Theodore Roosevelt, but hate Stalin. You don't know. That's probably the same damn character. That's what I'm saying. Hit the like button and subscribe. Taj, feel free to call me back and tell me what you thought about that movie clip, champion. 424-209-9506. He even said it. It's quantum mechanics. Worlds within worlds. Dimensions within dimensions. So all that shit them niggas was talking earlier about worlds within worlds, the aliens and dimensions and all that, that comes from this programming. Y'all are mind controlled by black Nazi people. You got me? Now that's for sure. Y'all can't get away from this truth. Morning, noon, and night, I'ma kick y'all ass. Coffee and Kush TV, you on the air. What up?
Cool, man. All right. This is what I call it, bro. I call it, all right, there's two things. One is the Mandela effect,
Go ahead.
and two is like, what's the name of that movie with Ashton Kutcher?
Oh, butterfly effect.
Yeah, it's like when you jump into time or whatever, and you change a single, because once they start playing with time,
Vigo.
and people start observing it,
You
and they see that they're messing with the time, they gotta do something else to traumatize people. Well, not
they gotta alter time.
Yeah.
Once people start
And
catching
all of a
on
sudden
to
they
it
start
and seeing it, it'll change because perspective alters reality. So if you got one who can change the perspective of 100 monkeys and they got the 100 monkey syndrome, they will begin to wake up and say, wait, and what would that do to the simultaneous world? Once the people begin to change their perspective on time and space, what is that going to do to the falsehood?
it'll fall because the
Go ahead.
particle. It's like it go back to that the slit theory. It's like when you look at it, it's a wave, but when you don't look at it, it's going through as a slit.
So it'll know
fabric.
it's being observed and it'll alter its state. Go ahead, because that's quantum mechanics, correct? It collapses
Yes, sir.
within.
Yes, sir.
That's what Todd said. It collapses within. Well said.
Hey, Kev, let me bring this up real quick.
Go ahead.
All right, we talking about the theory of relativity, right?
Yes.
And getting back into with one of the authors of the time, one of the inspirations for Lovecraft, H.P. Lovecraft, that guy Stegler, he came up with the concept of historical relativism, and that, like, to me, in my mind, it gets going like, you know how you had like the atomic bomb that ended World War II supposedly, and you know what I mean. They won the Pacific front, but we ain't like the Atlantic, like what was going on in Europe. That was like kind of non-conclusive. All of a sudden, we just had the UN and everything like that at the end of that. But needless to say, all right, historical relativism is a concept that he coined, and it argues that all written history involves interpretation. Every historian writes from a frame of reference containing his judgment on the necessary, the possible, and the desirable. So basically, like the H.P. Lovecraft is just like it passes from one generation that has like the actual light, he has the reality, and as the observers are starting to wake up and see things, it gives them the power to alter history, a la the Mandela effect. You get where I'm going with that?
A great example.
Yeah. And it's like how they like this is wild because we watching it like and like you the one that got me to start seeing all of these Theodore Roosevelts and stuff like that. And there's more of them out there, bro. I just man, I'm still stacking them
Well,
up, bro.
you're in
Like,
the mind control. You're not out of it. That's the thing about it. See, they placed us in this mental multiverse,
mm-hmm.
and then think we would grow to know we are living in a simulated multiverse. This
Right.
is the mental deception that's on who you call black people. But go ahead.
They didn't anticipate the glitch in the matrix. That's the whole thing that they couldn't see the anomaly. They couldn't see the one that would balance out the scales. Like Neo in the Matrix, bro. Going back to the
Go
like
ahead.
last time you was really going in on that and you was playing the clip. Yeah, when you was going in on that, bro.
What you mean? What you
It's
mean?
like it's like it's like going back to that what you were just now talking about, like the 99 Monkeys theory. It's like once you're able to get people to see things from your perspective,
Come on.
the world collapses. Like the bizarre land, it all collapses because you have people that can see. It's like the movie, I forget what movie
They
it was.
live.
He can see. And yeah, he can see. And then once enough people can see, the game's up, bro. The game's up. They can't continue to put, Napoleon in 3 different centuries and stuff like that. You know, you can't like these people can't be like forever. I swear, photographs had to be out a lot sooner than when they said, because the light bulb and the light bulb being invented 50 years after the electric car, I'm still struggling with that. I'm like, that makes absolutely no sense. You're not telling me something because that doesn't quite line up. Because, that's just me. I mean, I'm not an electrical engineer or anything, but I would figure one would come before the other. You know what I'm saying? But certain stuff just don't make sense when you start looking at like the inventions. It's like they were saying in that clip when they were going back and they were taking like the technology from a certain time and they were bringing it back into their time and stuff like that. What that got me thinking about was it's like them going and taking and patenting, like they pretty
Bingo.
much destroyed everything.
Bingo.
They had to destruct it to reconstruct it.
Yes,
So
sir.
they destroyed everything. And then they took credit for being these great inventors, whether it was
Bingo.
Tesla or anybody, Edison, all
Ford Motors, and he's a dang German Nazi. Go ahead.
Yeah, straight up German Nazi. He stole George Washington Carver's idea for, like, when you and my man was talking about the plant, the what's the name, the conveyor plant. It's like, bro, it can go so many ways, and that was the whole thing with the whole metaphysical thing. Like when they like thought, they came up with all these ways of thinking, and they inserted these ideas in our heads as children of how can I? They got us to look at like God like a genie, like you know what I mean. And then the church started reinforcing that with like, hey, you gotta, you know what I mean. You struggling in your job, you gotta do this, you gotta pray, and you gotta, you know what I mean. Give your money to the 501c3 that'll give it to the Catholic Church and stuff like that, and your prayers will get answered. But really, you just enriching the system that is holding you back. And pardon me, bro, I'm digressing.
No,
But
you can
like,
digress. You are right. It's amazing. That's what it is. You are right, champ. Go ahead.
yeah, no, bro, but it's just like it, like when you really just slow down and you study the like what you got me like where you got my mind at right now is strictly the 19th. Well, I ain't gonna. I guess it's the 20th century. I don't know, the 1900s, bro. But it's just following that trail, like following like from president to president, from time era to time era, and starting to see the acts that they were implementing, and the reintroduction of technology, and them being able to take credit for it and putting people into a banking system that wasn't beneficial to them, but something that was actually parasitic to them and was draining them of their energy, putting them in debt bondage. And like where we're at today, where the money, like they say the money is like, I don't know, it's worth like, they say it's worth like 7 or 8% of what it used to be worth in 1918. But I'm doing the calculations of what gold was worth $20 an ounce in 1918, and it's almost 2,000 right now. So we are basically 100 times, like inflation has hit that hard, and like I'm sold on the where we're at right now, talking about, okay, the resources were taken from the people of this land. So if that was passed down from generation to generation, and that stayed within a family, and we stayed with sound money, and we didn't go into all of these attacks, whether it was like these housing acts, the destruction of food, like by the government, by the federal government. You know, they pay farmers to burn food, and this is a practice that went on during the Great Depression. So that made no sense, but because everybody was hungry. But them putting people in the public housing and then redlining, setting out like the redlining, and then the introduction of, you know what I mean, what is it, like Section 8 and all of that, removing the man from the house, and the woman had a choice. They could either go with, you know what I mean? I got to make sure these kids is all right. I love you, baby, but I got to let you go so that the kids can eat. And then going forward into the crack era and stuff like that, the introduction of cocaine.
That's nothing. Tell me about E equals MC squared. Tell me about that.
All right,
Yeah, see that. Come on, bro. Fuck all that shit. Yeah, tell me about E equals.
E equals MC squared.
Yeah,
That's how I see that, bro. All right, let me grab some notes.
Yeah, I'm
E
ready
equals
because
MC
I'm reading.
squared.
I'm reading on my Discord now. I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this nigga was on right here. This is E equals MC squared. Albert Einstein, time and relativity. We run it in simultaneous shit. Let's rock. Go ahead.
All right, mass energy equivalence E equals MC squared. Energy and mass are equivalent and transmutable. So basically, it's like it could be like, all right, jumping back and forth between the allegory And I'm not even gonna
In
call it
time immemorial.
well, I will call it the allegory. I'll call it an allegory and a physical thing. It's something that led to the creation of the atom bomb, but I believe the more destructive thing is the atom bomb. Like like you always be talking about the Flash, their ability using relativity to change the perspective of the observer so that they feel like they're in the other shoes.
Wait. What you mean? You mean the Flash? What you mean by that in time and
Men in
relativity?
Black. Men in Black.
The Men in Black. How are they able to create the Flash in your mind using time, the law of relativity, correct? And that
Historical
will be
relativity.
that
This is
Flash will be
historical relativity.
considered not the atom bomb, but the atom bomb. Go ahead. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah. To get people to forget if you forget who you are, and you give it you give. It's not that you gave it up. Is they took it was like a theft by deception. It was identity fraud. So once they started putting themselves in that position, like the Queen of England and stuff like that, and like when they had going back to the sumptuary laws, once they took like the king's dress and the king, like everything about that was royal, they put it on themselves and gave the perspective like, okay, that everybody started to understand, hey, that is the queen. And more people started accepting that historical.
But how do you explain the Flash? You explain that by what? Where's the point where's the 0 point or the Big Bang in the mind? Go ahead. What is the starting point of the Flash or the erasing of one's memory?
When you got away from God, when you got away from law, when you got out of the law, they legally changed the law because those guys that were the Gutenberg guys, the theologians, once they started, how can I say this? They legally changed the law, bro. And once they got people into their state of mind where they were essentially like when they were out their mind and they were looking out into the stars, non-composed mental type stuff, that's when they were able to feed people the stories. Also, once they started getting the firstborns and they started
Once their gods went to the stars and moons and shit, and now watch this. Now watch this. I'm gonna make it real easy for you. Look at the chat room. Look at said the TV, bro.
Boom.
Programming, bro.
Nah, that makes sense.
Scenarios, theaters, characters, the entertainment, all that. Flash comes from the source itself of the Flash, the television, the bulb. The light bulb was invented by who?
Edison
or whoever.
Edison or, no,
I don't know, man. I thought I was this fool, Albert Einstein, but who gives a shit? This is what I mean. The real light bulb, the real flash. You know, every some odd seconds, it flashes in your mind, erases to the next cutscene, to the next one, to the next one, you don't even know. But all of these characters and time was given to you in the theater of war by way of what? Cinema and television. That's why the Truman Show looks so TV-like in his reality. Go ahead.
No, that made perfect sense, and that's why, like when dude was talking about Hollywood, and let's see what level of debauchery we could get people into by controlling the media. Yeah, that was definitely.
And not only that, when you look back at the theater of war and all of the things that was happening back then, like What nothing but really episodes of MASH. This is all theater, and we don't got here all in Patton and all of these characters within characters within characters by way of the Flash.
That makes sense. Yeah, and we got used to people playing people that's playing like people
Bingo.
playing other people.
You fell in love with I Love Lucy and the Queen and everything you seen, and that became the new religion, television. So we entered a state of alter reality and went to sleep by way of what? Television. And the Nazis beat you by what? Programming. Television. Radio. First it was radio, but now it's deep in television. As long as we can get you to
Bro.
believe a certain scenario, and they slaves, why you think royal purple, not royal purple, but the color purple has such an effect on all of us. Boys in the Hood, these movies of Frank Roots and drug dealer, all at one time. All of us. Television, The Flash, boom. Do we remember?
Everybody from coast to coast.
From coast to
Everybody
coast.
coast to coast.
Bingo.
And bro, it's like, when you were saying that, another idea that I thought that just popped in the head was like Philadelphia experiment.
What about it? Somebody had mentioned
like,
that earlier too.
all right.
Go ahead.
It's the mixing between, like, you remember they was like basically man and machine almost, like, you know what I mean? So it's like you got this digital world where, you know what I mean, people like you could live in and you could be whatever you want to be, and you know what I mean, regardless, like high or low, you could be whatever you want to be, and you got reality that you're dealing with. And it's almost like the advancement in media, even beyond like the television and stuff, like right now, it's almost like they're fracturing people's, I guess that's what I could say it is, like their psyches, and getting people to get lost in this digital self, and then they're trying to like portray that in real life. You know,
But that's I don't know what that is. I don't know. But what I do know is when you're dealing in quantum physics, see, we was just talking about what? The observer. So if we all observing the event by way of television, and it has programmed us, and the event is historical events by way of History Channel, the Smithsonian, all of these different programming to where we all come up with this agreement,
got you.
then there's no observer. There is only acceptance. And you can tell them anything. Now they're just nullified to sleep. They're caught in between. They're in between dimensions. We can play with their time. They don't know nothing. Only thing they know is they knew that movie Roots was good. They were slaves, but when you look back, like, wait a minute, who actually went through this? Wait a minute. And it was all programming by way of television. Now it takes somebody very intelligent to step out of that paradigm and observe the play. Now the marble has to decide what it want to be, a wave, or does it want to be a solid and go through the slit? Is it going like Todd said? Is it going blotch itself out? Is it just going to fall? What is it going to do? You're the observer. You step back and say, wait a minute, I've been programmed by the television. You don't step into third person mode. Now you know you were programmed by the television. So what is your so-called higher self going to do about you being programmed to the television?
You got a choice.
You have to deprogram. That's what you just have to disseminate the information, and that's deprogram, and realize that it was all a part of the experiment. Because if the experiment is alternate universes and realities and dimensions by way of characters within characters, and they're doing this by way of quantum mechanics and the law of relativity and Albert Einstein splitting the atom and stuff like this, and atomic bomb. All of this is this time. All of that is this time. So, because it was the law of relativity of what caused the Big Bang, the flash, the H bomb, the A bomb. Which in turn won the war, remember? Altered history. Boom. Altered history. Now, the Nazis quit, everybody lost, and then what happened? Oh, we won the war. We all American. We all look. We all returning home from war. So you got two. You got reality on top of reality, or simulation on top of reality. Emulate and writing it exactly to the script. Now that's artificial intelligence. Because in quantum mechanics, you're dealing with entanglement. So, oh yeah, you gotta if they can keep you guys all in pods and focused on one thing, which is not nothing at all, then there is no observer. Therefore, there you can't change history. You're stuck. And once you start figuring things out, something is gonna come on the TV. If you start a movement, algorithm is gonna come make the movement stupid, and it's gonna get hijacked by stupid shit. But if you can't hijack this information, algorithm don't know what the hell is going on right now. You feel me? What the fuck? Artificial intelligence right there. What the fuck? This can't get jiggy with this because you're challenging Mr. Algorithm, Mr. History, Mr. Wikipedia itself. You're questioning it. You're saying, wait a minute, this person isn't real. This person is. These are the same individuals. Now you're challenging historical events that you were programmed. That everybody can agree. Wait a minute, it's all real, man. Egypt was right there. Theodore Roosevelt was a good person. This guy over here was this one. Then you had the Mandela effect with the slight change of perception. They'll say, wait a minute, did Forrest Gump really? Wait a minute. Everybody will start bugging out. We can't have that type of shit. That's a slight change of perspective. Wait one fucking minute. But they didn't do that. You did. You hear me? They didn't cause a Mandela effect. You did. The awakening of questions itself saying, wait a minute. And then that shit just took off. Did this person say this or did they say this? And it took on a life of its own. Right here, it happened right over in front of everybody. Everybody participated in it. They said, oh shit, a motherfucker can change anything they want to. If you get a person smart enough, you get the right people to see the correct spectrum of history. Oh man. Oh, all of these little marbles, these atoms and within lives, within dimensions will fall down. And there will be nothing left of the deception. You get somebody that bright. That means once that happens, the law of relativity is no more. It is a disguise for the Matrix. Straight Nazism, straight destruction. Like I told you, the Nazis became the German U.S. force and Americans.
All right, Kev.
The alternate universes say that ain't never happened. But you know now that they had German concentration camps in America. and the axis of evil. All of these people had concentration camps in America. What up?
So it's like what you saying is I'm following it because it's like the going back to that scene we just now watched when they were looking at the different worlds and just the different universes or metaverses, whatever they were calling it. It would be like once once that slight shift of perspective happens and the observer is aware, those those split atoms
Bingo.
basically like they would start falling off
There
or
you
they would
go.
start exploding. They would
There
start
you go.
disappearing until it was only one. The real, every, because
Now,
like you
say it
said,
again,
layers upon
because the
layers.
people didn't hear you. Repeat what you just said, bro.
All right, so off of the scene from the Man in the High Castle, every globe was like a split atom, an atom that kept splitting and everything like that. So if all of the fake universes were to break up, were to be observed at a slight shift in perspective, the only thing they would start exploding, they would be destroyed, and it would only be one remaining, and that would be the original, the first, the thing that is actually real. Reality will be reality, and it wouldn't be all these split perspectives.
Well said. I agree with you. That mean you remember when they all tried to shoot up Neo and all of the bullets stopped and he just picked one bullet out and they all fell down?
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. The characters will begin to fall right out. The little enemy characters that come out, they will begin to fall down and collapse within itself. It's scientific. Ain't no way out of it. They in it, so it's real. This is what made them alive, sir.
Indeed.
This is what validated
Indeed.
their whole historical
That's what
background, the law of relativity. Albert Einstein, characters with an atom and splicing the atom, thus creating the flash, the Big Bang, in which they say the Big Bang, they were created out of the Big Bang. There it is.
Right. That is the Big Bang.
That's the
Moving
only
in
Big
time
Bang
again.
you
Yes,
could be
sir.
created out of because nothing can actually come from an explosion. So that's pretty much allegoric, metaphoric talk for the real flash, the Big Bang
That gave them life.
that gave them life. See, the observer controls, he controls it all. Little do they know. The observer is the deciding factor on what the atom actually does that's being projected. You see, the projection will be the theater, not an actual atom. We're going quantum here. Let's say the projection
Yeah.
would be the theater of war. The one who can see say, wait a minute, that's the same guy I saw in the movie, and people be like, shut up, this is real. This ain't that guy, the observer that had the aha moment of wait, the one moment here, who caught the glitch and didn't really know it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking about those type of individuals who know it, but really it never like what? Yep.
It's
So
like
go ahead.
pulling like a thread, and yeah, it's like pulling a thread. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Like the projection is this grand wizard that has all these powers and that can give you, you know what I mean, give you a heart to give you a brain and whatever like that. But in all reality, it's just the dude behind the curtain. And once you see the dude behind the curtain, you see he was just playing the character that, you know what I mean? That character was this great, great wizard. But once you see him, he was just, he ain't what he projected himself out to be. Like the Theodore Roosevelt playing all different characters or whatever his name is. You know what I mean? It's like seeing Keanu Reeves out on the street, and you running up to him, everybody just calling him Neil. You'd be like, nah, that's Keanu Reeves.
They are subject to order. I don't know. Explain that. Brittany will have to call that in. I'm gonna let somebody else call in. I'm gonna get back on this subject
Sure.
with you. And yeah, thank you for calling in, champion.
See you, sir.
My man. Yeah. So the different characters which you see on the screen now represent atoms and molecules and things of that nature, aka different characters of the same. So you might get, and they're just destroying them and beating every so-called nation by way of assimilation, altering the course of time by way of television. Television has flashed the people like never before. Press one and you know it.
Press 2.
Coffee and Kush TV late night with the roll. We talking quantum mechanics, the law of relativity. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, it's Brittany.
Hey, Brittany, what's up?
Nothing. So I just said in the chat they're subject to order. I was responding to, well, it was just my thoughts on what Tasha asked. It was, would they have to start a new world? And I was just thinking that they're subject to order. Because that's basically like in the word when it says that God gives us dominions to tread over serpents and scorpions. It would be the same thing, no? Like they would have to be subject to order. They would have to be subject to law. They have to, like when Todd said that it would implode on itself, basically the truth would just reveal itself, right? And they would just have to.
Yeah, it's kind of like but that's what it is. It's kind of like shame. It's actually it works itself out. You it's like returning to your a dog returning to his old vomit. He's been running from, but he got to come face himself. And they would never. Hey, it's us. It will unveil itself. The truth will unveil it all, and your awakening will unveil them and their storylines and their plots. Go ahead.
And I was also reading that relativism is the doctrine that there are no absolute truths. So that's the allegory. That's like the Pharisees basically just putting their own perception on what God's law really meant.
So it's the law of
God's
nature.
law really was. Right. So it's just all allegory and just a distortion and perversion of his word and his law.
I feel that. Yeah. But I guess the people gotta understand exactly what it is so they can understand where they are in it. You feel me? Like the two dimensions and two worlds on top of an individual in the middle, and two worlds. They got your life and this alternate life and another alternate simulated life on top of that, and dimensions on top of dimensions. In reality, is really just lives within lives and characters within characters and scripts within scripts. But what do you think of that?
But it's really just law. Like the only truth is God's law. So that's why you keep telling everybody just return back to the law. 'Cause that's where you'll find the truth. That's where you'll find order.
And
That's
the
where you'll find
law,
God.
you will be able to see through the projection, the illusion.
Right. And you'll be able to separate yourself from what's real and what's not.
Ah, and you will have to stand on that.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, thank you for the call. It's a blessing. Thank you.
No problem.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, look, relativity of simultaneously. Look what it say. Two events simultaneous for one observer may not be simultaneous for another observer if the observers are in relative motion. But what if the observer is standing still? And what if the event is in motion? Picture. Press 1 and it changes the outcome of the scientific method. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We going to New York, city of dreams. Coffee and Kush TV. New York is in the building. What up?
Yo, Kev, this Messiah.
Messiah, what up,
I
champ?
called over the weekend. What's going on, family? You on the money.
Talk to me, King.
You on the money. All right, so boom. I'm going to go imagination with you, right? So
All right.
when you're breaking down relativity and everything, that's time travel.
Right.
So when you think about time travel in a sense, right, because I love science fiction movies and shit, right?
Go ahead.
I remember when the lady was explaining it in the movie Deja Vu with Denzel. You ever saw it?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Go ahead.
All right, cool. All right, cool. Pete. So remember when the part when they was like breaking down before he was gonna go jump in the time machine or whatever, and she broke down how time travel exists, like or basically like on a sheet of paper. So she said in order for you to like bend time, you would have to like think of it as a straight line on a flat surface, and then you gotta fold it on top of each other. That's how you time travel.
Like Inception.
So
Go ahead.
Exactly. So boom, if you look at the picture in the middle of the screen of the Nazis and all that, and they showing the world going out, that's the allegory because it's fake. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
They're trying to time travel by stretching time, right? They're trying to stretch time. But you can't stretch time because if you time travel, you're bending it. So it's like somebody said in the comments when he was playing, like once you keep on doing it, it goes back to normal, everything collapses on back onto each other. So for instance, right, if you got a flat piece of paper in front of you, right, just fold it. Take your right hand and fold it to the left, right? Now, if you keep on folding it, the more you fold it, the paper is going to get shorter. So it's like collapsing on itself.
Oh, it's not expanding. It's collapsing on itself.
It's collapsing.
Got you.
So basically, it's like their lives are collapsing on themselves because they keep on folding time. And that's because we under hypnosis.
So Wait a minute. Wait a minute, champ. Wait a minute. I apologize. Break that shit down because it was hard for the people to hear, and not only hear, to understand. Please, bro. That shit was deep.
Okay.
Just Phoebe, and,
Okay.
and the sound was down, but not only that, it take
Okay.
a real mind to really understand what you just said. Go ahead, champ.
Okay, so basically it's like the time memorial was the time travel. So it's like basically how you explained when we was jumping from conversation to conversation, this is what they doing with information.
Go ahead.
So they time traveling, they putting stuff on top of each other. What makes it hard for us to understand it and realize it is because we're under hypnosis by the TV. Now, if you research the definition of hypnosis, it basically means like you're lacking awareness. And that's one of the main things that we lack in
And
the
you
black
said
community.
we
what I'm
was
saying?
awake in a sleep state or sleep in a way the TV got us like fuck. Go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like when you under hypnosis, it's like somebody's putting you to sleep, but you're not really asleep. You're still awake.
Go ahead.
It's just that your sensories is not peeping and observing everything that's around you. It's just listening to the person who got you under hypnosis.
Go ahead.
So the person who got you under hypnosis is basically feeding you the information that we getting now. You feel what I'm saying? Like the bullshit information.
Right.
But if you break the hypnosis, right, that's a part of the time travel because you can't have one without the other. Because in order for a person to believe he's traveling through space and time in the sense of they trying to portray it, you have to be under hypnosis. You got to be moving to their beat and to their drum because that's what all hypnosis do.
And
Walk
we're
over
all
here, walk
under
over there. It's like
hypnosis.
we're all sleepwalking.
Go ahead.
It's like the zombie movies. You feel what I'm saying? So all these allegories and stuff is like this shit right here. Excuse my language. This is giving me goosebumps because it's like, yo, I was just watching a movie the other night, right, called Hypnotic, and it's with Ben Affleck. Please watch this movie, Kev. Yo, I swear to God, right? It's about hypnosis. And the crazy thing about the movie was when the dude was looking for his daughter or something like that, right? Long story short, it was a group called the Division, and all these people, like professional, like job was basically putting people under hypnosis. So this dude thought he was a cop, and in the midst of it, he's looking for his daughter, but everybody that's helping him got him under hypnosis. So he really think he out in the field, like doing jobs and
doing
whatever
things,
the
but
case
he
is,
don't
a
know.
cop.
It's a whole movement pumping him up and
It's a
making him
whole-
think this. Go ahead.
Yo, listen, Kev, it's one part in the movie, right, where he finally break out of the hypnosis because he has a safety switch.
Go ahead.
So remember that word, safety switch.
Go ahead.
So he got a safety switch in the movie, right? He wakes up when they trying to reset him. Now, the crazy thing about reset in the movie, what the definition of it was wiping your memory clean.
Go ahead.
So when we think about our resets and stuff like that in time, that's what they did. They wiped our memory clean and
That's the
everything
Flash.
that attached us to the law. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So when Ben Affleck woke up after the reset, but before the reset, he froze it. And the next thing you know, he breaks out the room where they tried to put him to sleep at, and then he just realized it was a scene before that where he was in Mexico shooting it out. The next thing you know was the theater of war, Kev. I swear to God, he was on a Hollywood set.
No shit.
Once he broke out the hypnosis.
It was all
So it was like
part
he
of
was,
his.
it was all
it was a Truman
his
show.
imagination, like a figment of his imagination. You see, that's the greatest
But
thing. Like
with,
the
but
people
with
was saying
actors
in
and
the,
everything.
Yes, and the people that was acting like he had a partner. The person that was his partner, when he thought he was a cop, was really one of the dudes that worked for the division.
What's the name of that movie?
Hypnotic.
Go ahead.
Hypnotic or
All right.
hypnosis is one of the. Please watch it. When you watch it, you're just gonna break everything down like in a state of hypnosis. Because I just watched this shit like the other day. So basically, it's like everything that you say, I see them do it in real time, and it's like it's spooky. So when you hit me with this just now, I'm tuning in, and I'm just like, yo, he on the money because that's exactly what they've been doing. They just been hypnotizing us. We're having us look at people on TVs, how they explain stuff. Einstein, I never even thought of Einstein as a subject. Come to find out the dude's from Germany. Guilty by association.
Yeah, but I
That's what they
just tell
always
you,
do with us.
you wouldn't know
So-
if that was Adolf Hitler or Albert Einstein.
You feel me?
Yeah,
'Cause it's
you
like,
would
look at
know.
his face, all the wrinkles that look like prosthetics and all the
You would
fake
know
masks and everything that they be doing in
yeah,
Hollywood now.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because look,
So I had to think about it.
because he came to America. Disney and them was producing
Facts.
all of this shit.
Facts.
Operation
All facts.
a paperclip and all of that was based off of CIA running Disney. And it was it's a mind controlled false puppet kingdom. Go ahead, champion.
Yeah. So when I'm looking at Albert Einstein, right, I just had to put him up for like the extreme, like, hold on, because everything that they profess that he claims was like scientific, you know, like he getting Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize. These are all theories. So if we understand what a theory is, there's no really proof. It's just like, okay, I just studied something and here's my theory on it. I have nothing to really support it and back it up, but this is the best I can do. So everybody had to revere this guy as a scientist or the greatest creator ever when that dude that was preaching was like, yo, remember he was talking about the days of Noah, the pastor video that you showed us earlier?
Yeah.
He was like, yo, don't think in the days of Noah that they didn't have technology and all that stuff. I mean, he broke down how the surgery the Egyptians was doing when they were sticking stuff through people's nose and all that.
Right.
So we got to understand that, right? All these teachings that he ever came through with is just bullshit. It's like sorcery, like you said. It's rabbit stuff. You feel what I'm saying? So basically,
It's the
like,
occult.
this is
It's occult. And Hitler was big on the occult scientists of proving, and this was big, bro. This was big.
Exactly. Because they propped him up like one of the characters, you feel what I'm saying? To make sure that nobody would question him because he's such a genius. But if you kept questioning his affiliates and everybody he used to work for and all this stuff at the time, you will see that he's just as guilty as everybody else. Because at the end of the day, you leave your homeland and then you come back, you come into America. It's like we gotta start asking ourselves, why
They probably
did
gave
all of
his ass
these
some goddamn
so-called scholars
plastic surgery
come to
prosthetic.
America?
You ain't never lied.
Yeah.
And why all these German scientists around this time, you know, come here like that?
Well, like, what made y'all all come here? You got China, you got Russia, they got all these other things. Now, we know he broke it down, they all related or whatever the case may be, but what made this so, you feel what I'm saying? And this is what connects it with the Bible. It's written. You feel what I'm saying?
What
So
if the Tower of Babel is the devil's?
Yeah, the Tower of Babel, yeah.
What if that's the devil's
So, like,
tower?
everything
Did
that
you ever
said-
thought about that?
Yo, Kev, you got me Googling it right now as we speak. As soon as you cut it on. Cut the game off, you heard? Finals is on. I cut the game off. Hold on, let me tune in. Once you hit that, I'm like, bullseye. You got him.
Shit.
You got, like, you whooping their ass, King. You whooping their ass, like, for real. Like, this right here, with the whole breakdown of how they trying to do stuff with time and space and everything like that, yo, this is deep, man. This is deep. E equals MC squared, energy and mass. We energy and we mass. You feel what I'm saying? Travel times that by the speed of light.
Bingo.
So what is a metaphor for light? What is a metaphor for light? Knowledge.
Facts.
Knowledge is the light.
Facts. True.
And knowledge travels faster than the speed of light. You feel what I'm saying? See, I'm talking to you. I don't know where you at. You don't know where I'm at. But we hearing each other simultaneously. That's the power of knowledge. And frequencies and sound. So when you break down this whole thing, we mass, we energy,
Facts.
and we the knowledge. But they flipped it on us and they got us using it in reverse. Because we not basically seeing everything because we under hypnosis.
That's deep, bro.
That's my theory.
I mean, just the
That's just my theory.
I mean, when you think about television and and how it created our history since the inception, and it's just like, damn, everything we know is from the TV. Look,
Everything we know.
It says right here, after the relativity of this right here on the left side of my page, it say time dilation. Moving clocks are measured to tick more slowly than the observer's stationary clock. Wow. And then I just said what the stationary, like, what happens when you're not moving? Well, they say moving
When you're not
clocks
moving.
are measured to tick more slowly than the observer's stationary clock. Is that true? No, that's a theory. Again, that's part of this theory, but that's bowing to time.
Basically.
Yeah, because
And that's basically
go
that's them
ahead.
trying to stretch time.
That's them trying to stretch
because
it.
Yeah, because like they said, remember he said, the rainbow already came, so God promises already here and all that. We just gotta, you know what I mean, get to it. So basically, they just trying to stretch time because they know they time up, but we not unfolding it or keep on collapsing it on top of each other to where their little paradigm break back into the little one that's bright in the middle.
You ever saw Alice in Wonderland with the white rabbit and the white rabbit with time?
Yeah, I've seen it, but it's been a while. But just like
all right, but then in the Matrix, follow the white rabbit dealing in time. The law of Canaanite law dealing in commercial law time once again. But how is a moving clock measured to tick more slowly than an observer's stationary clock? Which means you have to be in motion under this theory.
This theory, you got to be in motion, and the main thing that has us like stagnant is the political realm. You feel what I'm saying?
All right, let's just say if you believe the Earth is spinning it's a Hellenistic mindset, but if the Earth is spinning at such and such 1,000 miles an hour, could they be coming from that ideology of an Hellenistic? Because even in you sitting still, time is moving more slower than you in that sense of theory, a Hellenistic idea. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they always want to. Yeah, I get exactly what you're saying, because it seems like they want to have a one-up on you. You feel what I'm saying? As long as they moving and stretching out the time and we stagnant, you feel what I'm saying? Theirs will move more slowly than us.
So time is a deception.
Excuse me?
So time itself is a deception. Like free time is no time. Will be more like
exactly. Meaning,
it's
like the days of the week and everything, like how they got it programmed.
Bingo, like, commerce. They got you set on commerce. Commerce.
Like, what makes commerce? Exactly. These are all operational.
What makes you get up? What makes you get up at 7 o'clock and go to work at 8? Commerce, time.
You feel me?
The white rabbit.
Time, but facts.
The law of relativity. Go ahead.
We wouldn't be paying attention to time. You see how we age slower than them and everything.
Yeah, you'll be working. So you'll be working for self, but it'll be on pretty much autopilot because your business will be in order. So you have a lot more free time, or you won't be in your corporate state. You'll be in your private, in your free time, probably smoking a cigar on the front porch in your chair. Go ahead.
Basically, that's it. If you got a vineyard, you know what? You ain't got to really tend to the grapes until they ripe. So it's like, all right, I can relax for the day. You feel what I'm saying? You ain't rushing to get to work because work is in your backyard. So you're not paying attention to time.
Right.
What is time when it's like time, like, nigga, what? We clock in, clock out. Nah,
so if you're not focused on time,
we all live
would you genetically live longer?
Yeah, so it's like with this right here, I'm kind of lost for words in some sense, because this is so deep. Like, I'm going to do some more research tonight on this, man, because this right here got me rejuvenated right here, bro. This is what I'm talking about when we was having a conversation over the weekend about imagination right here. This hit it. Especially with these dudes with this Hollywood and the theater of war, man. And this is the main key that they use. And this is what we are under hypnosis. They make it seem like they're more powerful.
But check this out. Here's the secret behind it. Here's the secret behind it. Knowing that you are under hypnosis, could your imagination be more real than the reality projected and given to you?
Who knows? See, it's hard because if you're under hypnosis, you may not even know the state of your imagination. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like you may be imagining things that's not really there, because your ass is under hypnosis.
Possibly.
So when we sit, like for instance, I use you as an example, right? They can't, like the dude Ben Affleck in that movie, they couldn't hypnotize him. For whatever reason, he had the safety switch. The safety switch. So if I want to think metaphorically, what's the safety switch? The Constitution and all these things. You feel what I'm saying? That's the safety switch that protects us in time. No matter what, they're trying to eradicate that now.
Bro, I got you. You like all.
They're trying to get rid of it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So when you're dealing with that dude who was under hypnosis, it was like he was the smartest one that knew how to put everybody under hypnosis, but he just didn't know he was under it because everybody was working against him. 50 nations. We got 50 nations working against us. You feel what I'm saying? So it's to the point where we've been born in this reality that really don't exist.
Oh my goodness.
It's really a figment of our imagination. But it's only one person who could, in the movie, it's only one person who could see that. You feel me? They put safety switches. So that's like Limestone George with the Constitution and everything, and the covenant and everything. Like, yo, you can't break that. You feel me? It's still there. It's there for somebody to claim it's the heir to the throne. Once we wake up, what's waking up? Snapping out of hypnosis. Because we dead in a dead state, but we still pumping. Our heart still breathing. You know what I mean? We still taking in air and oxygen.
So we like in that movie,
But,
The Matrix, we sleep. We in a sleep state. We under euthanasia. Go ahead.
We sleepwalking.
Bingo.
Basically, it's like not no zombie shit.
But we drugged up with the illusion by way of entertainment.
We don't see it. You can't see it. Like, you see how the dude showed the world, but then he showed the outer world and it had the United States, but the one that was brighter, it ain't have nothing over it. Who's to say we zoom in that we want to see Jerusalem? We want to see Israel. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
But they building the world on top of our world. So that's folding space and time again.
Right.
With the linear thing with the paper example I gave you.
Right.
So they fold that on top of that. Okay, boom. Now, all right, that ain't work. Okay, so what else we got to do? We got to fold it again. We got to bend space and time. How we going to do that? Well, we going to tell them they from Africa and everything like that. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to keep on folding it, keep on folding it. Once you keep on folding that flat surface, everything going to collapse on top of each other and then come into one under pressure. This is how you build like hydrogen bombs and all that.
Well, that's what we was talking about.
They
The
compress
pressure.
it. Yeah,
And they trying to cause a natural reaction, an explosion of and they want that that atomic bomb from that crazy black woman and that crazy black man. Then they know it's in there somewhere.
Facts.
They just don't know.
Facts.
They just don't know how it would display itself, and it's not that type of destruction.
Exactly.
It's this.
Exactly. It's like you think about it, an allegory, the Atlas. Remember you were talking about that the other day?
Go ahead.
The man with the weight of his world on his shoulder.
Facts.
How much pressure you think that is for a black man today? We all carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders, bro. We under the most pressure more than any other male species on this planet. We are. Our faults are highlighted and everything. We under pressure. So basically they trying to make us explode, but in a way where it'll benefit them. Antimatter, matter. Anti-venom, venom.
Got you.
See, all these allegories and stories that you see how we could just like everything you saying before, or even like the stuff we were saying over the weekend. We had that conversation on your other channel, and then when you played the videos this week, the pastor was breaking down the conversations we was doing. We was breaking down.
That's right.
We was what? When you said we was flying. What we was doing? Time traveling.
Facts.
We was breaking the laws of physics. But we was doing it verbally, intelligently. Because why? Knowledge is the light. So if we speak in light, we speak in knowledge, that should travel so fast that they can't keep up with it. So that's why they got to have theories of relativity of time and all these things to adjust our way of looking at it and perceiving time.
And constructing and having, wow, you absolutely right.
You see what I'm saying?
Well said. Well said.
I love science fiction movies. Like, you can't tell me nothing about, like, science fiction when it comes to I pay attention to this shit. Because it's like, it seems real. You know what I mean? I don't mean in the sense where I could go back to the 1600s, but I mean in the sense of how they break it down scientifically from their standpoint and then how we observe time and everything, and now you going into time and immemorial, they wouldn't think that we would sit here and piece these things together. Because why would Hollywood keep on trying to throw it in our face if
It's
they
like
don't want us to figure it out?
right, but it's kind of like, well, do they want us to? That's the weird thing. Is that the mind of a sociopath?
You know what I mean?
Is to sit back and watch.
Of course.
If you can figure it out, and when you do, it's like job well done. Remember in the Truman Show, right before Truman figured it all out, here comes the dude in the Hollywood set. Truman, hold up, man. We raised you, man. You live on the TV, man. That type of shit, you know.
It's like they want to see if you worthy of, you know what I mean, holding that top position.
Knowledge and wisdom.
Knowledge and wisdom.
Knowledge and wisdom.
So while they keep on altering it, like we pop up out of that, they gotta respect it, because you know that's one thing these crackers do. They do respect knowledge in a sense.
Facts.
When they're not trying to alter your fucking way, you feel what I'm saying? They respect the knowledge, but they fear him at the same sense. The fear will supersede the respect, because they know what they did to us in the past.
Exactly.
But as far as like knowledge, you know what I mean? They always think about. They always want to steal a nigga patent. They want to steal our imagination, which is what, an invention. So
which is another world, which is world after world and another world. They want to control that. That's what he was saying during that video clip as well. They want to consume that.
Exactly. They want to control that, but think about it, right? Now you just fucked up their world, because now your imagination, I imagine, Todd's imagination, everybody's imagination in the chat said our imagination is fucking up their shit, because we are inventing new paradigms of thinking. That's gonna what? Be the anti-venom to their venom.
Facts. That's what it is.
So the fact that you talking quantum mechanics and all this shit, the multiverse and all this stuff, it ain't no secret that Marvel's talking about the multiverse, DC's talking about the multiverse. All these movie franchises are trying to alter our way of looking at the multiverse, because they know we near. So they trying to keep us under hypnosis by having us thinking of superheroes and shit in the multiverse when we was born in the multiverse.
And we was born in the multiverse, and y'all been talking about this shit the whole. We've been living it in our
whole fucking time,
our dead state. We've been in it. It's the dead state, the multiverse, because we're dead in the multiverse. Facts, G.
We dead in it. When you think about what's Doctor Strange in his multiverse, when he seen these people, the one that had problems with him was a dead Doctor Strange.
Really?
Yeah,
Doctor Strange
movie in the multiverses. He was battling a version of himself, but it was dead version.
Wow.
Plenty other versions, but it was a dead version, and they keep on playing with us, and they keep on throwing this shit in our face.
They're selling it in an allegorical, mythological, Greco-Roman godly way. But if you did I say that right?
Hell yeah. Just listen, man, like you said, we flying, bro. So it's like there's no rule. We can't. One thing we got to step out of is they hypnosis of them trying to teach us how to think. So if we think like them, we ain't gonna get the answers. We got to think like how we think. And so everything you saying, you on the money, because you coming through it with a spirituality sense of it. So that's pure. You feel what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Got no problem. You a Gillespie. It's in your blood, right? So this is something that they cannot because it's in us. It's in the bloodline. It's in the lineage. So it takes from a man of the cloth to figure it out. I would have never thought quantum. I'm still thinking time immemorial, but the main thing when I'm thinking about time, we never was thinking about time travel.
Time travel.
And how we breaking it down in a sense like them. And if you think about it, man, listen, if you think about how they break down time travels and everything, you know this shit is bullshit, so we gotta apply that to their way.
So we're actually at the source.
At the source.
We're at the source.
Right on time.
Which is this.
How ironic.
This is crazy. This is why I'm excited about the statement I made earlier. Time and space. They beat us with time immemorial and space.
Yes.
So within that is the individual stuck in between worlds.
Mm-hmm. trying to find a way to collapse it back on each other or fold it back out so it could go
Facts.
back to normal.
That's why they say
You get me?
that's why they say the cross folded invertedly is a what? Box.
Thank you.
Boom.
Got him.
Boom.
See? See?
Damn.
Yeah, we going to dimensions now too. You're talking 2D, 3D. That's the difference. But it's all in the eyes of the beholder.
It's all in the eyes of the observer.
Yeah. I look like a square if you go around.
Facts.
All right, it's flat. I don't see no cube. Oh, now this is a cube. Now if you got a cube inside of a cube inside of a cube, that's a tesseract.
Facts. Or if
But we can't visually see a tesseract.
like if you look at the Chevron logo, the blue and the red are stacked on top of each other, but once you turn the corner, look at it from a different perspective, it's a box. And then you look at the damn, this shit wild. That shit wild when you paying attention to
you
the
can do that with everything.
You can do it with everything.
The BMW logo is the same thing.
Facts.
People just think it's black and we check it squares. Nah, that's a propeller over a white sky.
Facts.
That's moving because they used to make helicopters first. BMWs ain't make cars, they make helicopters. So it's all about perception, like you said, and who's looking at it. It's not meant for everybody to see it.
You absolutely right. It wasn't meant for everybody to see it until it is.
Exactly. Until it is, because everybody's such a non-believer that they ain't going to believe it until he pop up in fire and brimstone. But the people that's waiting for him, they ain't going to be shook. They don't understand it. So it's like when I broke down the allegory of Jesus in John 3:16 and in a few scriptures past that, see how the dude broke down Noah, and he was like, yo, these dudes wasn't sitting around. These were smart people. This was a civilization that was, you know what I mean?
Right.
We was on the money with that.
And big
we
conversations.
used our imagination.
Big imagination, big thought, big mindset put into speaking. A lot of nigga just didn't talk just to talk. It meant things, you know?
Come on, you see, we ain't talking. What was 19 Keys and them talking about in the videos earlier? Cannibalism.
Facts.
Shit like that. Like, what type of talk is that? That's not knowledge, bro.
That's
sorcery.
that's bloodline that goes back to. But that's the tree that they forefathers bit off of. So it's a part of the genetic makeup, like my man 19 said. He was like, it's just something about conflict, but that's not ours. Is peace, humanitarianism, truth and knowledge, wisdom. Boom, boom, boom. So it boom, boom, boom. I got you.
Yeah. Yeah, we just got to be they anti-venom. The same way they go at it, the same way we gonna come at it. But ours is firm, though.
But it's also healing, bro. It's also anti-venom heals. So even though brothers and sisters might be bitten, the anti-venom is going to help you whether you want it or not. All you got to do is pay attention and look and peep game, and it's like a seed being planted.
Boom. Tree of life.
Boom.
You see? So it's like, boom, the people who wrote the Bible knew they had to write it like that.
Yes.
Safety switch.
Safety switch.
Because they soulless ass wouldn't be able to interpret it the way we would.
They seen it as, like in the book of Eli, a control mechanism to control and make money off
of
it.
Yeah, they looked at it just like a commerce sense.
A commerce sense rather than
they just wanted it for commerce than actually, you know, they wanted it for commerce.
They wanted the blessing and not the inheritance. They wanted the blessing and not the inheritance. Like Esau said, what does that do for me being the firstborn? He wasn't thinking of his inheritance. He was thinking of the morsel of meat.
Exactly. That's all they think about. The next come up instead of the fucking covenant.
Instead of the covenant.
See how he promised one a blessing. I got y'all blessings. You're going to get us a gift. But we got the covenant over here. This belongs to the covenant. How y'all get blessing? Y'all still want somebody else shit. Crazy.
after you find out, like, wait a minute, we good, but it's more. It's more. Yeah, it's a covenant. Oh,
It's
wait a
more?
minute. No,
Like,
no, no. Wait a
it's
minute.
more- yeah.
I want that too. Wait a minute. You
You feel
got
me?
oil. You got all the gold, all the fattenings of the earth, like Scripture said, and now you want the blessing, just the covenant, and the sovereign ordainedship of royal descent. You want that too? You can.
You want that too. You know? So how you broke down the Devil's Tower when you first came on, and how we was breaking down how every place that they named over there, these so-called countries over in Europe, these are named after places over here, like we was talking about East Palestine, King of Prussia,
Facts.
all these places is over here in America.
It's like sister cities.
Babylon's fallen. Why would it fall over there if that's already fell? If Rome already fell, how can Babylon be falling now?
Facts.
Because Babylon, they moved it from over there and brought it over here. After he done flooded out, because it looked like that was a catastrophe. Like, you feel me when you look at that tower?
Yes.
It looked like,
That's
oh
like
my God,
mud don't cover it
don't
up.
look right there.
Yes, sir. And
It don't look right.
in America.
You feel me? It's like you study, this is science. Igneous rock, metamorphic rock, all different types of rock. That rock don't look like it got a place being there. Why is it gray around all that green pasture?
That looked like it was melted. That looked like melted down, destroyed.
Melted down or whatever. But Pete, here's another thing, right?
Look at the top. It's
You know, they
flat.
say the pillars-
That may have been a place of sacrifice, and sacrificing like that pastor said. They started sacrificing to moon gods and things of this nature on the top, and they had to take that shit down.
Had to take it down. Looking at that tree right now, I'm just looking at it and it just looks...
That looks like molten
out of place
steel,
there.
like 9/11 shit at the base of
Yeah,
9/11.
exactly. And it looks like chemicals, like something did that. That's not natural. You never see great natural rock just sitting around like that.
Right.
But here's the thing, though, right? Think about the tower, right? Pete, you know when they say that the White House, those pillars that's on these old buildings, inside of them is old trees. They just plastered them around real good. So what if the exoskeleton or the skeleton inside of this is really the tower? They just plastered over this shit.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, if that could
That's
be,
what it
oh
looked
my
like.
goodness, the whole damn.
It
That
looked like
do look like
plaster.
plaster.
I do this type of work.
Remember,
It looked like
yeah,
plaster
that do
plastered
look
on
like
the wall.
plaster, like deep plaster.
So
like
they just covered it up, and then they named a national thing so nobody wouldn't go visit it and have a remembrance of it. That's the mind wipe. That's the clearing your memory, the hypnosis. We're going to put this there, but we're going to redesign it. They ain't going to know this was the other tower that we had, but I'm going to hold it to so much. Why would he claim it as a national, you know what I mean?
First
Like a national
monument,
park,
the
or
first American monument.
He's a nice. Why would this be the first monument out of everything in America? All these buildings out here, you got all these bridges out here. Why would this be a monument? A tree?
No, this is
Be for real.
yeah, this is more.
No,
like,
that ain't no damn tree. Look at all these big ass trees around it. These are tall trees that's around it. It's just from a sky view, so they look small. These are 20, 30-foot trees. So how tall is this thing right here?
yeah, this thing is tower type shit, like a huge
Tower.
first-
That's a building.
Yeah, a whole skyscraper
They just-
type.
I'm telling you, it's a building. That's that tower back. You caught him.
Caught their
Caught
ass.
'em. Caught their ass, cat. This is cold right here. You hear me? Got him. That look like plaster, man. That look like somebody trying to plaster a wall after it dry. If you don't sand it, it look just like that.
That look like a wall when you get into a
I know
domestic
some-
dispute and you don't want the owner to come by. He coming by this week. You try to fix it
You
up real
feel me?
quick.
You gotta patch it up. You fix it up. You don't know what you're doing. So it's blobs on the side and everything like that. You feel me? That's what that look like.
He said you don't know what you doing and shit. They got the Super Gillespie patch going. Yeah, they go see that. Yeah,
Come
right.
on, God don't. You ever heard the saying, God don't deal in straight lines? These lines are too straight and parallel, symmetrical. On side of it.
This is like the outer shell crust of that man.
Yeah, of something that's hidden inside of it. They just probably just dump mad concrete, cement, plaster on it, until it is hardened up, and that's just that. We get a bomb and blow it up, or we dig a hole at the top of it. I guarantee you, there's rooms all in it. Our final answer.
It's probably you
Telling
right.
you.
It's probably all. They take a
don't
3D visual of
belong
this.
there.
Yeah, that don't belong there. That's insane.
That's so out of place.
And
man.
they was trying to tell me that's a tree, and look, it's just like the base of a trunk.
Nah.
All right, I can see how you see
Nah,
that.
that ain't no tree.
But now that I'm aware of the manipulation of time and space, please, that's the Tower of Babel with cement. And in my brain, I couldn't fathom the Tower of Babel in cement if I'm thinking 12 BC or some old time way immemorial somewhere, when it's clear this is more like a tower of a one world system, a worship tower or some shit. We gonna plant our God right here.
Right here.
Could have a lot to do with Nimrod and all of that Egyptian mythology and stuff like that. That could have been all here with gold heads of Nimrod and big arms, and this could be the base foot of Nimrod. Remember that foot? You know, remember that statue they built that was built and it was smashed. The statue was smashed, and at the base will be will be his feet. That's the only thing that was left, his foot. That can be a lot of things, bro. A lot of things.
It could be a lot of things. A lot of them.
An eighth wonder of a world of a statue of Prometheus. Who knows what these people came up with? Go ahead.
I'm telling you, like, we see it in these movies, and we got to go to our imagination, even though it's like based on something like they put in front of us, but we just have to alter it. Man, how many spaceships you've seen built inside buildings that just take off out of nowhere? That just be built inside of a structure that you wouldn't think that's the spacecraft.
Oh yeah, like
like
on Men in Black with that Seattle thing too. Remember that happened in that movie? You like, wait a minute, that's crazy. But you never know of technology or things that are sitting in front of you. But again, this right here specifically can very well be the Tower of Babel. We're gonna continue this conversation again. The next 2 days, we got another one. We're gonna talk more about the dissemination of time and space and matter and more knowledge and wisdom on my late night show, bro. Meet me right here.
That's a fact, bro. You already know.
My man, East Coast to West Coast. Thank you, champion.
Don't forget. Check that movie, Hypnosis or Hypnotic.
I'm finna watch that right now. I'm finna watch that right now. Thank you, champion.
Yeah. Please. You already know, Kev.
My man. New York in the building. We know it's a lot of knowledge and wisdom out on the East Coast, out here on the East Coast. Gotta love our brothers. And this is gonna conclude our quantum physics, E equals MC squared, time, relativity, the law of this stuff with what's his name, Albert Einstein, and figuring out this matrix and dream world on top of this inception of lies that we've been given as we've been sleepwalking and hypnotized by Operation Paperclip, Nazis who won the war, who convinced us that they lost the war. No, go figure. Only here at the Row do you get these best conversations. I see y'all first thing in the morning. The law of nations returns first thing in the morning. I see y'all. Be there in home room so we can laugh at some more metaphysical cannibalism. It's your boy Kev Gill. And as always,